JSnip4, where have you been? I know. Trust me, I know. Just busy at work, getting stuff done, and just hadn't had time, man. So it's Friday. I'm like, damn. I don't think I've done a video really like all week. Did I do one Monday or Tuesday? I'm like, man, I don't think I did. All week? A whole week? They were probably like, man, come on, I need at least 1 or 2 videos every day or 2. Come on. You know, but oh, believe me, there, you know, ain't no shortage of news. Ain't no shortage of crap happening. That's a fact. And you know, I guess the title of the video is basically, you know, is 2015 really going to be the year of the collapse? Yes, but I was just thinking of something a little off subject that I just want to mention real quick. I was reading that Google was thinking of changing their algorithm on search results. You know, where your site ranks based off of the links coming in, right? Like right now, if you have a website about, you know, car repair, and you've got thousands and thousands of other people's websites linking to you, linking to, you know, pages within your website or whatever, that's very powerful for you to be on the first page of Google. So if someone searches for, you know, how to replace an alternator in a Dodge Caravan, you know, in that subject that's on your website, you're going to be that top guy who comes up on Google first. Because why? Because you have so many links from other sites pointing to you. It's kind of like a vote that you have authority more than other people on the subject, so to speak. So your site deserves to come up first. That's, in a nutshell, how the algorithm works with Google. Now, I'm reading recently, well, we don't want to change that for, you know, sites like that, but we are floating the idea, we as in Google, or a group within Google, we're kind of floating the idea, and this is going to be more of media websites or news websites, etc. Information websites. And again, I don't mean information like how to replace the alternator in a Dodge Caravan. I mean information like, did the United States do such and such in another country, or is there a cover-up, or is, you know, being exposed? That kind of website. New, you know, quote-unquote news. And their thought was, let's maybe get away from the whole linking thing, making these sites rank high on the subjects, because we want a system, again, just for those types of websites, that is ranked, you know, in the search engine rankings by the accuracy and truthfulness of the information they provide. More so focused on the truthfulness part of that. So immediately, 2 things come to my mind. Who is deciding what the truth is? Because whoever they are is going to decide where your site ranks based on what they perceive as the truth. And since Google is the government, do you think maybe the people in charge of that side of Google are going to make sure everything that you and I know are truth, and the government in some of these big cases, big things happening, are a bunch of damn liars, and we all know it, and they can't fake it to us anymore? We're not stupid, and you're not going to be able to find that information simply by searching on Google anymore, because that site's going to be on number page 760, and everything you've ever searched for on Google in your life has probably been found on the first or second page of Google, for the most part, right? I know I'm correct, because that's a fact. You don't have to go searching throughout pages of Google to find it. The top sites always come up in Google. Everything you need to know is in the first or second page. Mostly in the first page. So your site's not going to fall off the face of the earth, so to speak, in the rankings, so you're never going to come up if you're not telling the truth that they've determined is the truth. So when you expose something that, you know, Hillary Clinton did, or whatever, or Barack Obama did, or some thing that our nasty Congress passed that was completely un-American, completely unconstitutional, and you want to voice your opinion about it and maybe expose some lies behind it, nope. this site's now getting deranked way down because that page is not telling the truth. And what truth is that? Our truth, as the government. It's not towing our line, so you're going to get hit. Now, I'm going to say, at first thought here, yeah, it's bothering me. Naturally, it should bother you too, because they're trying to crack down on the movement of information, keeping people informed. And believe me, people aren't just a bunch of dummies by default or any other reason. When you present them with information on both sides, usually they can decipher both of it. Now, sometimes it's so greatly unbelievable. For example, in my opinion, the Sandy Hook thing, the Boston Marathon bombing, and the lady with the fake blood pouring on the ground, that scene with the hose coming out of her purse. Even having that powerful information is sometimes really, really hard to convince somebody else that the government went through all of that, had freaking all these actors doing this. There's no way. Even though that's staring them in the face. Dude, then why is this purse coming out of her, this hose coming out of her purse with her right leg completely drenched because the damn thing wouldn't shut off, and the amount of blood on her leg right now would normally kill a human being because that much blood loss, you're dead. Yet she's standing there like some bozo until one of the other crisis actors comes to her attention. Come over here, you've just been injured, and wraps her whole leg up to where you can't hardly see the blood anymore because it's too much blood to just put a little tourniquet on and have her walking around like nothing's wrong. And then high-resolution photo is snapped by some media, whatever. Oh, what's that thing coming out of her purse on the side of her, the same side of her leg that's blood? Oh, that's a hose. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's the new design. It's the new Gucci purse. Little fake blood hose coming out of the side. So even stuff like that's hard to convince. However, if that person who's seeing this, and it's their first time ever even thinking, oh my God, the government, or, you know, and again, I don't mean the whole government, the rogue element within our government is doing this, at first glance, some people are going to say, oh my God, I cannot believe I just saw, oh my God. Other people are going to say, man, still, yeah, I see it, man, I do see it, but damn, man, they couldn't have staged that, man, the bombs and all that. Right? It's going to be hard to convince, but at the same time, if that same person's willing, open mind, to continue looking at other things and see similar things and say, well, wait a minute, man, these all can't be coincidences now. There's no way. Ultimately, that person's going to come to the conclusion that the rest of us are. Most people don't want to keep continuing because that just rocked their world. However, as time goes by, things like this start becoming common, and they start hearing about it, and then they start to accept, okay, well, there's some things going on. People like me who go to my websites I go to, you know, every day just to kind of get my own little, you know, news update, so to speak, of what's happening in the world. It doesn't matter where Google ranks us. Because if you know, oh, I go to realistnews.net every day to get my news, or I go to Godlike Productions, or I go to Silver Doctors, or I go to Zero Hedge, or, etc. It doesn't matter what the ranking is. You're not searching for something that happened and trying to find the truth about it, right? You already know, I don't need to search for anything. I'm going to these sites daily as my news source. So you're going to be made up to date regardless of what Google does. So it sucks that they're trying to do it because it proves they have stuff to hide, and they don't want people finding out, and people are finding out in droves, out of control right now, and they need to act quick and implement something new algorithm in Google so people can't keep getting informed. Now, notice how I said I had a little side thing to talk about, and that was it, 100 minutes of time right there. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was, is this really the year? Is this really going to be the year of the big collapse, financial, etc.? Once again, all those markets, all-time high, blah, 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 right? And every other market crash was always during the all-time high. So, I do believe it, and as I said, I did speak with Lindsay Williams, and the conversation was whatever, and then when he mentioned, Joe, or he calls me Joseph, because that is my first name. He said, Joseph, the last 3-4 months of this year It's going to be brutal. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be like nothing the world has ever seen. You've got to prepare. People have got to prepare. It's just the tone of his voice, how it changed. It was very serious, you know. And I'm thinking, even though he's telling me this now, he's already said it in the last, you know, almost a year now, I'd say roughly, starting partially back, you know, in 2014. You know, so he already said that. But again, to have that tone of voice change and everything, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm listening. And you know, like he said in his video too, which I mentioned in my summary, he's like, you know, I'm going to advise you, you know, the people to check my site, lindsey-williams.net. Any new information I get that I need to get out, I'll post it there. And I would advise you to maybe once a week, at least once a week, to check, you know, so to see if there's any new information. So I kind of take that as, you know, just hearing him say it basically as this, well, he does, or, you know, may have some more information he's not been allowed to say yet. And again, as he's said many times, if the elite tell me you can say this, this, and this, but you cannot say this, this, and this, old Lindsey Williams complies. If he is told you can say this, but not yet, he's going to comply, and then when he can, boom, comes out, says it. So for him to say, you know, get ready, basically, sometime in the near future to really start looking at my website once a week, that's fairly frequently. I've never had updates on Lindsey Williams' site to date, the guy that controls the site, anyways, that works with him to update the information. I've never seen like, oh, 1 week, new information. Oh, a week later, new information. Oh, the third week, new information. Or even, you know, 1 week and then skip a week and then the next week, every other week. Like there was something new. It was never updated that frequently. So for him to just say all of a sudden, yeah, I'd advise people to start checking my website, you know, as we get near that time frame, maybe once, you know, every now and again. Matter of fact, you probably should check it every week or so, once a week. That's telling us, you guys, there's a little more coming from me, in my opinion. And it'll come on the website, and when it starts coming, you know, start paying attention because there's going to be some more, you know. I mean, I'm assuming. You know, notice how he didn't say, yeah, I'm going to have 2 or 3 more DVDs coming out. No, it was just check my website, which of course is free, for the important updates and stuff that I put on there. There's, you know, just start checking it once a week. So I feel like it's very well could be this year because they have to get rid of this massive amount of debt. There's a bank, I just read, I forget which country, was it Austria or something, had a huge bank. Oh, all of a sudden this bank was fine and they just, you know, had an audit of some sort, and they've been cooking their books beyond belief, and they're now insolvent and bankrupt. But just yesterday, which, again, this happened days ago, you know, but in the bank's eyes, well, just yesterday we were fine, and everything was good, and they missed a payment to another bank or whatever of, like, billions of dollars. They halted payments. That was an immediate sign. Boom. Bank's done. We know what that means. No, we're just, no. We know what that means. And sure enough, then the next day, yep, that's what we thought. Y'all were cooking the books, the new accounting practices that are allowed all over the damn place nowadays, which are not accounting practices. It's fraud. It's hiding and cooking your books. They just call it a different term. And if that bank did it, oh, probably it's the only bank. No other bank would do that, right? No. So you're going to have all that has to be dealt with. The derivatives crisis is going to have to be dealt with. This massive amount of debt that all countries are in right now, and the USA is the #1 debtor country of the world, has to be dealt with. And as in the term dealt with means default. We don't have the money. We never did. And everyone else is in the same position, so let's all have a default party and kind of do it together. But it's not going to be pleasant. It's not going to be a pleasant fun party. It's going to be a little painful financial party, because the markets are going to have to be destroyed at the same time. And then, ultimately, interest rates have to rise. And I had someone say, email me, say, hey, man, do you think how the housing market's looking now? If you were, you know, going to give some advice, would you tell us to go ahead and get the house now while the interest rates are decent? Or do you feel like the housing market's going to collapse and we have a better chance of getting a better deal after the housing market collapsed. I said absolutely positively the housing market will collapse along with this. Everything's going to deflate, just like Lindsay said. Deflation is the name of the game, at least first. And you might find after that, all of a sudden certain things and sectors start hyperinflating. It's not going to be the housing sector that hyperinflates. Oh no, absolutely not. So I said, here's the thing. Now, first of all, if you have cash, depending on how low housing goes, you may say, well, I didn't think that kind of cash would buy me a house. But it does, let's say. I'm going to say wait for the collapse, because you're going to have a fire sale. But you need to pay for it cash, because we may find either simultaneously markets going down big time, at the same time interest rates are doing the opposite. So 3, 4, 5% house, mortgage becomes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, we're in the 1980s again. Oh, well, you can buy a $200,000 house, last year for $70,000 right now. Yeah, but back then when it was $200,000 and your interest rate was 4%, here was your payment. Now it's $70,000, 15, 16% interest rate, and your damn payment's the same. Etc. And I don't know what the rate is. I'm just, or the difference. I'm just making a point. Not off the top of my head, but. So now, what happened? You have the same house made of the same material in the same spot that at one point was $200,000, and now you're telling me it's worth $70,000? Only because the interest rates have changed and people can't afford a $200,000 house at 14, 15, 16% interest. So what has to happen? Prices have to come down to meet that little equator, so to speak, that median of interest rates and house price equals your payment capability. And your payment capability, i.e. the money you make at your job, especially during this crap, when this goes down, you're not going to be, I was making $15 an hour before, now I'm going to make $25 while this is happening. No, you'll be lucky to maintain that $15 an hour, if not be told, look, we're actually letting some people go, and if you want to keep your job, ain't going to be no raises this year and from the foreseeable future for now. I think I'll keep my job, thank you. But I can't go get a house now. I'm stuck in this one. And then what's going to happen? Oh, all those adjustable rate mortgages that were, yes, allowed back in the system. Remember the 2008, the adjustable rate mortgages, people, the interest rates went up a bit and it messed them up and they couldn't make their payments and that caused the housing crisis. When in reality, that's not what caused the housing crisis. You gave a ton of people money that they couldn't afford to have via a loan. They couldn't afford to pay back to go buy a house, who quickly realized and showed us all, we can't afford this, so why did they give me this loan and tell me I could afford it? Because I can't, now I have to walk. Regardless of interest rates rising up 1% or whatever from the adjustable rate mortgages kicking in. Nothing to do with it. However, in this scenario, where prices get crushed, interest rates go up, in heavy duty, let's say, your adjustable rate mortgage will be affected, which means housing crisis 2.0 kicks into full gear, because people are going to walk. They're not going to be able to pay the hundreds of dollars, maybe even many, many, many hundreds, or $1,000 more a month in rent just because interest rates went up. Those people are going to have to be locked into a mortgage, and they're not going to be able to be locked into a mortgage, a new mortgage. Let's say that the banks come and say, all right, you don't want the adjustable rate mortgage, it's expiring next month and you're about to get hit hard. Let's put you in a 30-year. Okay. Oh, but you know what? That didn't change the interest rate, so now you're in a 30-year at 14%. Okay, so my adjustable rate mortgage is going into 14%. So what is putting me in a 30-year going to do? Oh yeah, you're right, nothing. Now you'll spend the rest of your life 30 years or refinancing you. It just doesn't make sense. So again, as he said, man, just gold and silver. He says it doesn't, and he said it's not going to matter what it does in the interim or during this period. It's not going to matter. What's going to matter is when, after this happens, and you have it, and where the price goes after this stuff happens. As I mentioned, yeah, you can try to play this market and say, you know what, I got some cash on the side. I'm going to hold off to the rest of the end of this year, so that if they do destroy silver and gold during the entire deflation of everything, and it very well could be the plan, that's when I'll buy. Because if I can get silver at $3, $4, $5, whatever, $8 one more time or one last time before, I've never had this opportunity because I didn't know about gold and silver back when the prices were that low many years ago. I'm waiting for this one time, and I'll flip that credit card out. I'll do whatever I got to do to get some of that silver. You can chance that, but if you don't have any silver right now, personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable playing that game just to wait and see if I can do it. Because what if that's one thing that they just can't, for whatever reason, deflate down that low? Again, for whatever reason, they just don't or can't, and it sits where it's at, or it starts to go higher. Now you've missed having some, and you know, again, my opinion is to always, right now, get some silver, period, if you don't have it, and then if you feel like you want to chance it just to capitalize and get a lot more for your money, then if this happens the way I'm thinking it could, and I'm not saying it will, you have a chance to get a lot of silver for a little bit of money. I've been buying, you know, continuously over the years at all kinds of different prices. I'm not upset one bit. I'm not sitting here saying, man, I wish I would have kind of held off all these years and waited to the end of this year to no. I feel the comfort and security of knowing I've got some silver in my possession right now today. That comfort is better than the price point at any day, to be honest with you. This will just be a bonus later on if it crashes and I flip another credit card out. Bink, give me my silver, and I'll be even more happy. But it'll be short-lived, because if that happens, crap is going down in the world financially, and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be pretty. But at least I'll have some comfort knowing I can withstand what's coming because I've prepared for it. Take care.